And welcome to Everyday Hip Hop. My name is Cayman.
And I'm Xavier.
And we are here with you guys on the Black Ambition Media YouTube channel. So do me a favor. Go ahead and like and subscribe on the bottom. Again, like and subscribe the video on the bottom. Are you locked in? Are you our friend?
Twinning them.
Then like and subscribe on the bottom for us. We're growing fast, Xavier. We're growing very fast. This year is coming to an end. It's been very, very, very fast to me. Like, we're already in December. It's about to be 2025. Like, what?
Right, and it's not slowing up.
At all.
Not at all.
So, rounding out this year, we do have a couple of hip-hop topics for you guys today. And we're going to start out with the one and only used to be guy in the Big Three. And I'm going to be very respectful to J. Cole today.
Right, he's regained his spot. He's all cool with me, so don't be coming on here.
Why is he all cool? Why is he all cool with you now? Because Xavier, I remember throughout this year, I'm doing a lot of reflecting. You know,
right,
it's December, and April 7th, 2024 was not only a big day for me, but it was a big day for my whole friend group. People who have listened and talked about J. Cole and put him in the upper echelon of these MCs, in which he is most definitely still in, but it was coming to a precipice. It was coming to a precipice with this Big Three, this legacy-defining moment. We knew Drake and Kendrick at one point had to go at it.
Right, eventually.
J. Cole, with the maturation process and what we've known from his career as being fans, we knew that he was inching up to one of the top MCs and cementing his legacy in this era as well.
Yeah, but we should have known from Black Friday that wasn't going to go the way we maybe expected.
1,000%. We already knew that 10 years ago. So April 7th happened, Dreamville stage, but before even April 7th happened, there was a project release called Might Delete Later by J. Cole. J. Cole released Might Delete Later. The last track on there is not Trey the Truth of the in Ibiza.
Oh, yeah.
That's not the last track on Might Delete Later.
No longer available in your region. They hit you with that.
7-minute drill. Cole released 7-minute drill, a Kendrick Lamar diss after Kendrick Lamar incited this whole thing with the Like That record where he was just letting them know, hey, I'm outside. It's not no Big Three. It's Big Me. So what we doing? April 7th happens. Dreamville stage. Drake reportedly is supposed to come out. I don't know. And J. Cole decides to do something. What did he decide to do? I want you to remember this and talk about it because I want you to get that feeling
I'm gonna tell you how it is.
Okay.
He spoke his truth. J. Cole told us that there was something heavy weighing on his soul, and I can understand from an artist's perspective, if you know you have a big project coming, you're planning your retirement tour,
1,000%.
it's going to be hard to be in that lab and give it your best when you feel like you got something weighing on your soul. So yeah, disperse, relinquish that, heal, apologize even, but you never sue. Defamation?
Xavier, what was your
Bots?
What was your thoughts April the 8th and April the 7th after that happened?
I did cry. I did cry.
What did we do that day after the 2 days after? We literally recorded the podcast that day after because we were so.
I agree. I was upset. But since then, things have happened. Things have happened that made me look at Cole in a different light.
Okay.
And I realize now it wasn't that bad.
Right, and you're talking about the transgressions of his light-skinned brother.
Right, and we know, like, the talks on social media is like, I can't believe that y'all are mad at a grown man taking accountability and apologizing. Like, that's never been what it was.
And it wasn't that, yeah. So
never been
we'll
what it was. What it was coming from a strict standpoint of listening to a rapper for the last 10 years say they are the best, nobody can mess with them. They are the gun.
Right.
Then when it's time for them to be the gun, they cap. Like, we all know he was capping on 7-minute drill, saying, well, maybe he wasn't capping because I heard he couldn't read from somebody. But not to get into that because he's all clear in my book.
Right. This is retirement.
Yeah, it's all retirement. Yeah, retirement.
Year. We won Dreamville tickets.
It's the off season.
Right.
But on 7-minute drill, we all know Cole was capping when he was talking about the weight that Kendrick Lamar's discography holds.
Mm-hmm.
So much that the backlash that his fans, the reaction that his fans were giving on Twitter made him apologize. The fact that y'all J. Cole fans was really on social media talking about, yeah, T-Pad was really not it.
Right.
T-Pain was really not it. Matter of
Right.
fact, I agree with Drake. Y'all was just trying to act like you trying to get the slaves free.
And as a Kendrick Lamar fan, in retrospect, I get it. Stand with your man.
Stand with your man.
Stand with your man. And this concert and seeing those people out there, it was lovely to see those Dreamvillers out there because they were out there
Right.
heavy in
But-
New York City.
But stand with your man's always and forever, twin. But if it was me and Kendrick said 2014 Forest Hill Drive was
It's
trash,
yeah, yeah.
I would
Then
have been
you're
like,
like,
I think you're mistaken.
Yeah, right.
But not everybody gotta, you
Right,
feel me,
ahead.
you feel me.
Ahead.
Common sense ain't common, as
Right,
they say.
yeah, but we saw the Kendrick, Cole, and Drake all followers. There's people
Right.
that love those people, so they couldn't
Act.
kind of
Maul.
differentiate. Definitely Maul. I like Act. At least Act played the records on his stream. Like,
Even
he's
Rory
playing
with the
Euphoria.
lawsuits.
Yeah, so you see that people just had to stay on their side, and they stood on their side. Whatever. So very upset. Cole has been going through this year, but I think how he ended this year has been kind of great, just for perspective on J. Cole and his career.
Right, because even when he dropped Port Antonio, and he did receive some eyebrow raises towards the end of the song, we can still all agree that was a great song. And that's really the only
Exceptional rapping,
Right.
and that's the thing.
And that's really only been the only issue with Cole in 2024. He's given us great music, but at what cost? It's like, yeah, the music's great, and it's like, even he said it. He's like, y'all can't even lie. I'm one of the best to ever do it, no matter what you say. And it's like, yeah, you're the best ever, one of the best to ever do it, but I feel icky. It don't feel right.
It don't feel right.
It don't feel right.
It don't feel
You're turning.
right.
You might. God forbid that you turn into Big Sean.
Stop. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
there's gonna be a list of albums that we left in
Hey.
2024, and we're gonna see if that.
Big Sean verse or not. Some people say bear with me, and they don't even got to bear with him.
J. Cole last night. J. Cole was in MSG Garden in New York City
out
last
Twitter.
night. If you had the Inevitable subscription, like I do,
Shout out to
that
Cayman.
had the audio series on there, that had like, I think, future like pre-access to the concerts and the information and stuff like that. It had all that kind of information. It had a chat in there with all the Dream
Right, you
Villers
mentioned
and everything.
dollar tickets. I ain't hear nothing about that.
Yes. So he did sell, his regular tickets, but J. Cole did one thing. He left 2014 to represent 2014 for Forest Hills Drive's tickets to sell for $1 when he used to, we reminisce, J. Cole used to do his $1 in a Dream tour way back when. So he did do that for the fans.
Respect.
He dropped a location. Whoever got there got the $1 wristbands. Boom. So it was up for grabs with that. And we're seeing artists, and this is why I want to give J. Cole a lot of credit before I get into my other part of the concert and what I was thinking and my perspective and opinion on it. I want to be kind of clear on what he's doing for his fans, what these moves are representing as far as, like you were saying, retirement in his career, and we're reminiscing, and he's really at the end goal and where his headspace is. I'm kind of feeling where his headspace is. At the end of the concert, he said, I might have something for y'all coming before Dreamville Fest,
Hey,
which is in
no more
April.
subliminals.
Yeah.
No more subliminals, please.
So J. Cole is literally gearing to be at the end. So it's just been great for him to give back to the fans. Before this even happened, the day before, he did a rehearsal at an unknown location. He dropped the location, and I believe it was free. It was only like
Respect.
300 or 400 fans, but if you got there, like, you're there at a J. Cole rehearsal. So innovative ways to give back to the fans. I loved
respect
it.
Respect it.
So J. Cole did do this concert last night, and it was a 2014 Forest Hills Drive anniversary show. So along with performing the album, which he did, he performed some of the records that he made in his homie Muhammad's crib. These are the records that got J. Cole popping. These are the records that made J. Cole who he was. This is his maturation process as an artist and stuff like that. So he sprinkled those songs in halfway throughout his set. It was great. Cole sounded amazing to me. Just as far as rapping sounded, like I said, it was great to just feel the Dreamvillers in there. You know, everybody got their Dreamville hats and they're just singing the songs and they're just so for Cole, and it's so great to see.
Right, that front row.
So the band was the highlight of the night for me. They killed the set.
Okay, respect.
I'm not saying it disrespectful to Cole. I'm not saying it disrespectful to Cole, but just how the band was, how that drummer was, how they were just in syncopation with each other.
Okay.
They were on one accord. It was just amazing to hear. They killed every single J. Cole song that they performed. So, what did you see off the clips and stuff on Twitter and things?
I kind of really just saw pictures of how big the crowd was, and people saying, like, I can't believe people said that nobody listens to J. Cole. And
Which was not the case.
yeah, I really don't know who said that.
But this is the narrative. When you're mad at
Besides
somebody,
Kanye. Kanye did say that.
yeah, when you're mad at somebody, that's been the internet narrative for a minute, but people were upset with J. Cole for the decisions that he made throughout this year. It's okay. That does not mean that nobody is listening to J. Cole. That does not mean that he doesn't have any more fans anymore. That does not mean, okay, people were having discussions, would Cole ever be okay again?
I don't know about that.
They were having those discussions.
He never dropped Wagwan Delilah. That was
but he
not
dropped
the case.
Grippy.
When you really think about it, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty catchy. Catchy.
You just
Pretty catchy.
you got him because of the other dude. You got him because of Aubrey and how Aubrey is moving. That's the only reason.
Come on, and don't act like you wasn't listening to not 7 Minute Drill, but Might Delete Later front and back. How many times you listened to Trade the Truth and Ibiza or whatever?
That's one of my favorite records of this year.
So it was never in question that Cole was gonna be a bad rapper after he apologized.
Right.
It was a question. I think the question was, is he gonna have to change his content a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Can he still be so braggadocious and say that nobody can mess with him and that he's coming for everybody when we saw that you will not?
Right.
I think that was a little bit more what the conversation was. And what we've seen is he really hasn't switched anything up. He said, y'all can keep having your conversations. I'm not really going to be here for that much longer anyway.
Right. And that's where I get to the bad of this concert for me, Xavier, and how I was feeling about it. It just, the live stream, great camera quality, just made me think about the pop-out show. And it's not the same at all. I understand this is a 10-year anniversary. Mm-hmm. That was a victory lap for Kendrick. Right. The energy in there is just different.
Hey, comparison is a thief of joy, man. Come on.
I get it, but J. Cole, his entire career, whether he actually did say it on the podcast series, so any J. Cole fan, the people that really want to understand and know this part of history and hip-hop, like, go listen to what he's saying. He knew there was a competition going on between Kendrick on this side and Drake on this side, and where he stood in that. Like, that was what he's been thinking about this whole time. So if he's thinking about that, me as a consumer, I'm definitely thinking about that, listening to all three of them for the amount of time that I did listen to all three of them. So it just made me think about the difference of records that Kendrick has versus Cole. Just, I mean, like, 2014 Forest Hills Drive slaps and all, but J. Cole, you're about to retire. Like, something does not feel right to me about this retirement party.
Yeah,
like, he shouldn't. I don't know. And it's like, I can't be selfish as a fan and just be like, I just want him to continue on and have that desire and have that hunger. J. Cole is who J. Cole is, and you have to accept him for that as an artist. But it's just like, for me now.
Right. Do you feel like it's just too early?
Too early since what happened?
Or like too early in his career to be hanging it up?
Yes.
Especially when we can agree that since 2014, he hasn't really dropped anything better in that last 10 years.
Right.
So that really all holds that weight on the offseason. Is it going to hold up to this 4-year...
or the fall off?
The fall. Yeah,
the fall off.
Is the fall off going to hold up to this 4-year wait, this anticipation that everybody's had on? And, like, knowing that 2014 Forest Hill Drive was the last classic that J. Cole has given us, is he going to be able to match that before he exits?
Right.
And then coming off of the year he's had in 2024, some more conversations might spark up. You never know.
And then it's like some of those records that he may have had on this Fall Off album, does he have to revise them? Can he even like drop any of some of those records that he had before?
I don't think J. Cole's really gonna change his content. Yeah, I don't think he's really gonna change much. I feel like for him, he feels like, I apologize, everything's square, I can go back to what it was.
Right. And I just think it's for somebody who had the potential to be the best, one of the best of his generation, if not the best of the generation, it's just disappointing to see him stop at this moment, and it just feels like he's just done. It's sad to see as a fan, even though I've been frustrated with Cole throughout this year, and he's winning me back with what he's doing direct to consumer, which I will always respect from an artist, especially somebody that's in the top echelon of rap right now and has the most eyes on him. He's still trying to find ways, innovative ways, to give back to the fans and to have a direct to consumer approach to the fans.
That's what's up. I wish there was more artists that did something like that, random pop-ups, and just give the normal consumer an opportunity to see like their favorite artist.
Right.
Not everybody can afford to drop $500 on a nosebleed. That's outrageous.
Right, but hey, Kendrick was in Nickerson Gardens doing 2 tracks, like all them kids on there, Memories Forever. So there's still ways that these artists are trying to give back to their community.
Right, you bring a gift, free entry as long as you bring a gift.
Right.
You could have brought a gift I was going to give my little brother. It's my fault, G.
I got to go see Kendrick.
I'll bring your picture back.
Right, I had to go see Kendrick. So we shall see what's going on with J. Cole. He is going to drop the Fall Off. We talked about this on the last episode, but you don't think it's going to be a classic. I think it has to be a classic. I think this year it's just I'm just looking at him differently.
Right. I think it's going to be a great album, but I don't think it's going to be a classic just because there's so much anticipation built on it. I don't think it's going to be able to match anybody's expectation. The way he's been hyping it up for the last 4 years, the way he's been killing these features that we can all agree for the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting the world. I don't think that nigga's providing me the world. He might give me a couple continents, maybe an ocean, but I don't think I'm getting that whole earth.
Hey, you better cement your legacy and drop 60 like Kobe did his last game. And if you're really gonna retire, go out guns blazing, J. Cole.
Weren't they kind of letting him score?
Stop. They was not letting Kobe Bryant score. Don't do that.
Okay, you didn't have to repeat it.
It was I needed to repeat that blasphemous. That was crazy.
I mean, it looked a little.
Moving on to another legend.
Respect.
Lil Wayne was recently on the Skip Bayless podcast, and did you hear what he had to say about talking to Kendrick Lamar?
Sounds like he was doing some type of walk back. I ain't never seen that. He said I had to pull up nice sweater vest, button up combo.
Let me see while you're talking about that and describe what happened, what Lil Wayne said. Introduce that. I'm gonna look for the original tweet that he had because I need to kind of get that back in my memory.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't remember what he said. The giant.
I'm sleeping.
So he was on Skip Bayless podcast.
So Wayne went on Skip Bayless podcast, and for those of you that don't know, Wayne and Skip were actually pretty good friends.
Right.
So we were able to see a different side of Wayne, a little bit more relaxed, and this Wayne that we see with Skip is a drastically different Wayne from the one we've seen recently on stage and on Twitter. So what it sounds like is what I've been trying to tell y'all is I feel like somebody is in Wayne's ear telling him certain things, telling him that you deserve this, that should have been you. And I feel like Wayne has just been famous for so long. He got a little bit of that child star energy that I feel like he might just be a little easily manipulated. And from what I hear on Skip Bayless's podcast is that Lil Wayne did not listen to Whacked Out Murals before he made his Twitter post, which to me is ridiculous. Why are you talking about something with so much vigor and passion that you didn't even listen to? That really tells me somebody is in your ear telling you, oh, did you hear what he said? Oh, yeah, you need to go and talk on Twitter right now. They're challenging you. They don't really think you're the GOAT, blah, blah, blah. That was supposed to be your spot. And honestly, when I first heard that, I was like, oh, that's a cop-out. You mean to tell me you made that Twitter post and you didn't even listen to the song? Mm-hmm. But then Skip played the song. And I've never known Wayne to be an actor. I never knew Wayne to be an actor.
Art said the lyrics to the song, right?
He said the lyrics to the song, and Wayne was like, oh, I don't think he really meant like, oh. I was like, wait, maybe he really didn't listen to the song before he went on Twitter. Wayne, I got turned into Cayman. Wayne, why are you on Twitter crying and you don't even know what you're crying about? That is ridiculous. On there looking stupid with your sweater vest. I'm talking about, oh, well, I don't think he really meant it like that. And Skip kept pressing him. He's like, well, can you tell me? I'm not sure what he meant.
Skip is a journalist.
I'm not really sure what he meant by that. Could you tell me what he meant about he let you down?
Let you down, right.
And he's like, I think he just meant that he knew how important it was for me, and he just feels like he got that opportunity at the moment for everything that's going on. He just feels like he let me down. I don't think that's what exactly that song was talking about. But for some reason, that's the conclusion that Wayne got.
Right, and this is a tweet right here. Man, what the F I do? I just be chilling. And they still come from my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction. Not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me, love. November 23rd, 2024.
And when did GNX drop?
Oh, that's a good question.
I was like,
that Friday, whatever November 23rd is, the Friday, that's when GNX dropped. So, very interesting, great analysis, and I think you made a great point about the comfortability level that Lil Wayne may have with Skip. They are friends. They talk a lot. They talk often. So, we may have got the best response from Wayne if Skip asked the question to him, I guess.
Right.
He did, like you said, look very surprised.
He did look
listening
shocked
to the lyrics. I just want to know, do you think that he really recorded something and didn't have nothing, so then he tried to get on the phone and make it all cool?
From what I can tell from listening to that podcast, I feel like Wayne is trying to act like he reached out to Kendrick prior to Whacked Out Mirrors being released.
Prior to his apology video, prior to Wheezy whatever fests.
And we'll get into that a little bit more. But speaking of contradictions, like when we listen to Whacked Out Mirrors, Kendrick tells us that the only person that congratulated him was Nas.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that you congratulated him and told him he needs to kill it, but he just decided to leave that out? So I'm just like, too much is going on. This has been a sad year for my vets. My OG's looking crazy right now. Like we mentioned, Wayne is still the GOAT, but Jesus, what is going on right now?
Yeah. So I think what happened is they definitely talked after there was a reportedly Wayne got in the booth. I think there was a conversation had. There was mutuals that came together that finally got them on the phone. They made peace. Wayne is a legend. I never wanted really to see Kendrick Lamar and Lil Wayne battle.
I wouldn't mind.
Pure entertainment.
Yeah, just entertainment.
But I don't want to see the legends go down like that. Like sometimes I want to see our legends go out like maybe a J. Cole is now. But when they're actually older and not getting better at their craft and perfecting their pen for what? Just to do features for songs for what? J. Cole?
For fun.
All them features we don't even remember anymore. Lil Yachty and stuff. You just giving away verses. You're right. You're right on that. Hey,
an A+ verse on a C+ song, nigga, that's a B. Right, ain't going back to that.
Right. So, I'm glad this was squashed amongst Lil Wayne and Kendrick, and we can move on with that. Next up on the hit list, it's just very amazing to me, and I will mention this every podcast, Xavier. Kendrick Lamar has not said a word. The most words we heard Kendrick Lamar talk about was during his Super Bowl promo video when he said he will be performing. Other than that, what? At the pop-out? When he was actually performing?
Right.
You don't hear him talk. He comes out, does what he needs to do, and then goes home.
Yeah, that's old school hip hop. Before all these rappers got podcasts and wanted to get on TV and on social media, just saying everything, snitching and whatnot.
Right. So not only did Lil Wayne feel a way about Whacked Out Mirrors, and that has been resolved, but a comedian by the name of Andrew Schultz also had a lot to say.
He's one of those.
That's what that's what they call him. I don't like that type of humor, but for the people that do, shout out to you. Salute.
I don't mind it.
Yeah,
as
I don't
long
mind
as,
it
as long
too.
as it's funny.
As long as it's
And
funny.
that's really the problem with this generation of, they call them the Joe Rogan generation. The people who just say offensive things and that's the joke.
But I don't want it. I don't want this to be a race thing because
I mean,
this
it
is
could
not
be.
the Rising. But
Right.
everything,
Check us out.
Hey, but everything does have to do with race.
Yeah,
in
this is
America.
This is America.
This is America. So maybe white people understand and get those jokes way more. But where I come from, like how I was raised and stuff like that, just saying the most outlandish thing doesn't always get me.
Right.
As far as just funny, you actually had to say something that was funny. We was actually cracking on niggas just because it was funny, like laughing to a point where my stomach hurt and stuff like that. That's how we laugh in our community. So I don't know if y'all laugh like that, but that's how we laugh. And it has to be funny in order for me to laugh to a point where my stomach is hurting.
Right, because you can make an offensive joke funny. Like Dave Chappelle did a lot of that on the Chappelle Show. But it has to be funny. Nowadays, in like the last few years, it's really just the joke is how offensive can I be?
Mm-hmm.
The joke is just making people go, and that's it.
Right.
And now it's like, you wonder why comedy is so bad. It's like, because anybody can be a comedian now. You just got to say some stupid stuff.
Right. But he is getting his audience. He's gaining his audience, and he has his audience. So he has gained that. So let me just play this clip
Shout
for you.
out to Charlamagne for extending that.
Let me play this clip for you, Xavier, and let me see what you have to say about Andrew Schultz. Your reaction to this.
What was it?
Stop, man. All of y'all are believing these fake-ass timelines.
I don't remember.
So I got to deal with a propaganda machine? Who hit you up?
What was it?
This is it. Kendrick drops the song.
Yeah.
Mentions me.
Yep.
Mentions my friends. Says slide on his friends, which I assume are you and you.
No.
So wait. Just let me talk. Let me talk.
Okay.
Don't interrupt. Just let me talk. Which I assume are both of you. Slide on the, the coons and the ones that are grooming, which I assume.
So you just called him coons.
You guys also think it's you because you're getting death threats. I'm getting death threats.
I never thought it was me.
Okay, that's fair. You never thought it was you. You have the ability to talk to them, right? They reach out to you to patch shit up real quick.
It's the Doodle and Laugh podcast.
Yes. But they, but,
and laugh.
but you told me. Listen.
Well, I'm not trying to see. Listen, what's it called?
Anyway.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Shits and gigs.
Boom.
Right?
My God, yes. I don't know.
So Kendrick's people reached out to you to clarify. They're like trying to, we didn't want to say it actually came to you, and people are thinking this. They're doing their little due diligence with you, right? But nobody else knows that. They think it's you, and they think it's you. Y'all are getting death threats. I'm getting death threats. They posting pictures on my little kid. I haven't said anything. I'm filming my special. So 2 weeks, I don't say a single word. All Kendrick fans are saying they're gonna kill me, my family, my little daughter. They're commenting on the pictures of my 8-month-old daughter. It's fine, whatever it is. This is internet shit. I don't say shit, right? I go, okay, it's like that. I'ma fuck your man. All of Kendrick's fans go, how could you say that? Oh my God, you can't go there. You can't take it there. But I thought y'all took it there when you were saying you were gonna kill my daughter. So wait, y'all can kill my daughter, but I can't fuck your man?
I think we shouldn't.
No, hold on.
We shouldn't.
Hold on.
Conflate Kendrick fans with what Kendrick is on, though.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, because I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't conflate Kendrick fans.
Because a lot of your fans, Andrew Schultz, are racist.
This
so
is class. This is classic white man.
Right.
No accountability.
At
Like
all.
I
He's trying to
understand
loop in people.
I understand he's a comedian, and I understand this is a hip hop broadcast, and I understand people come here for music and stuff like that. But this is all about race to me.
Right.
And this is what enrages me, and this is why I can't stand with white people. Don't let no white comedian talk about black women. That's law, because this is how you fucking think. This is how they think, and then you don't want to take no accountability. You're talking about something that the fans said that has no actions based on a bar and a song and a man that doesn't say shit and don't fuck with y'all in these internet games at all.
Right, and the way I feel about Andrew Schultz is kind of how I'm feeling about the little leprechaun in prison right now that just did that song with DDG. You're kind of just involving yourself in something that don't got nothing to do with you because you're bored and you want some more attention. Andrew Schultz, listen back to the song, because I don't think your name was mentioned on there.
Right.
I don't think Charlamagne's name was mentioned on there. I don't think the other coon nigga on the show was mentioned on there. I don't think nobody's name was mentioned on there. It was a pretty broad statement. I feel like a lot of white comedians
Be talking about black women.
be talking about black women. Like, we off the top of the dome, Gary Owens, Andrew Schultz, of course. There is a lot of comedians that have said things, and even regardless of that, the fact that he feels like he was the one that needed to speak up for that,
Right.
because he felt like he was including Charlemagne in that. He said, "I was standing
That's
up
what
for
he
you."
said. He's trying to say. He's trying to
Yeah,
say that.
he
But
said, "I was
that's
standing up for you,"
complete
because
BS to
he
me.
was trying to slide on you.
Right. That's complete BS to me. But the thing is, I don't think that any group should be above a joke or anything like that. Like, make sure it's funny, but when you had a stereotypical saying, like, I don't even remember what he was saying with the shits and gigs guys or something, but it was like a stereotypical ass thing for like,
Oh yeah, he said that when white men get with black women, the reason their hair is short because they lose it from having to be stressed out all the time, and the reason that they get a beard is from having to endure all the slapping and
oh yeah, they get slapped upside
yeah,
the
they
head
get
or
slapped
something.
upside the head all the time by black women, so they got to grow a beard to save themselves. So just more tropes that just paint black women as aggressive and just hard to live with.
And if you don't you like, I understand you're supposed to be a comedian and all that, but you have to have like Dave Chappelle is a fucking genius to me, like at times in how he conducts and does his jokes when he's really on his
Right.
shit.
Even Bill Burr.
Right.
Like,
so
there is no problem with your joke being offensive. Like, nobody has a problem with the joke being offensive. We have a problem when the joke is just offensive.
Right.
And we got to search. Like, where I think he left the joke at the house. Like, what is going on?
Right.
Like, they're just not funny. And that, I know we're getting off topic now, but that was my only issue with the last few Dave Chappelle specials, is that he is at a different caliber of a comedian to be doing these middle school comedy jokes,
Right.
like just talking about gay people, and that's the joke. And that's really what Andrew Schultz was doing. He was just like, "Oh, the joke is I'm raping you." Oh, yeah. I forgot to laugh. Like, that shit was terrible. And then he's really upset that people are upset at him, and he's trying to be like, "Oh, Kendrick called Drake a pedophile, so I can say that I would sexually assault him."
I was actually gonna play a little bit more of that clip, but you already said that, so go ahead.
Yeah, it's like trying to use like a false equivalent to like save your ass. Like, that is not the same. First of all, nigga, you're not Drake. He's not talking about you. Your name was not mentioned in anything. And the fact that you felt so comfortable from the little bit of black identity and experience that you get from sitting next to Charlemagne, you felt comfortable enough to speak on something like that, hip hop culture, when the way you're even describing the song and the lyrics in the song tells me that you don't need to be speaking on this.
And then it's like, shut up, like shut up, Andrew Schultz. You're talking about a rap battle. Why are you trying to compare where two people are literally dissing each other back and forth to him saying something on whacked out murals and not asking for your fucking response from anything like he has to say on his record and how he's expressing himself in his art? So how are you comparing those two? They have nothing to do with each other. He's talking about, oh, he can say this in a rap. They're rap battling, and this is why you're white. You're white, and this is why white, like, let me calm down. I'm getting my blood pressure up. White people can consume hip hop. White people opinions should be double checked at the door at times when you want to express your concerns, express your ideologies, express your opinions on hip hop. Your opinion needs to be double checked, verified. I'm not going to say that only black people and Mexican people can talk about hip hop, since it was created by only black people and Mexican people. This is the number one genre in the world. But we got to start vetting some folks.
Right.
Talking about hip hop.
I feel like white people, and we just talk about hip hop for now. I feel like white people need to know when to step back and when to acknowledge that they do not need to be at the forefront of this conversation. There is a black guy or a black perceiving man on that show. Maybe you should have gave him the reins on that one. Instead of, going on a buck-breaking spree, maybe we could let the guy that you assumed Kendrick was taking shots at actually speak, instead of having to sit there all awkward while you talked about sexually assaulting somebody that's most likely in his playlist.
And you're just saying it's funny.
And he was barely even fake laughing. He was like, "You are crazy. You are stupid." Unfortunately, the dude from Sacramento was out there, hee ha ha, riding that thing like a pony. Crazy work. Crazy. I don't get it. And I never understood, like, I get it. Not everybody was around a lot of white people like that, or was in a lot of white spaces growing up, so maybe they are not as familiar with white humor. This isn't too far off base from a lot of white male humor.
But I mean, I give some of the like. There's white people that are way funnier than this. Come on.
No,
man.
yeah, they
But,
can be
like,
funny, but I'm saying just like
the basis of
sexual jokes with dudes, like homoerotic jokes, but you're not gay type jokes. Like, not to say like like a gay joke is like you mean you're gay, but like white white men have like a fetish for homoerotic jokes with other dudes, and from the outside looking in, this looks weird. But it's just common. And if you've never been in those spaces, you've never heard white guys just say that and trying to pants you and try to do that.
Right.
You're looking like, what are y'all doing right now? And I feel like the entire world, the entire hip hop community is just looking at Andrew Schultz like right now, like, dude, what are you doing? But even more, I think we're looking at Charlamagne like, why are you really letting this slide like this? Of course, he's giving him some subtle pushback or saying, well, I didn't think he was talking about me. I don't really feel like that's enough because, yeah, Andrew Schultz was on MTV back in the day. He did Guy Code. He's y'all call him a comedian. He does tours and stuff like that. But he's really been platformed to a different level, I think, because of Charlamagne and their, what the fuck is that shit called?
Brilliant Idiots.
Nail on the head. Brilliant Idiots podcast. So I feel like Charlamagne should also, as the designated black man in this situation, be held a little responsible for this and letting that shit slide. That's your white boy.
I mean, he's not responsible for him. And like he was saying, first of all, he probably had communication with somebody over there. That's number one. Charlamagne did. And Charlamagne has been consistent with his point. Everybody has to be accountable for what they say and what they do. So I don't know what's going to happen to Andrew Schultz, and I'm not saying he's going to get touched or anything like that. It's just everybody has to be held accountable for what they say and what they do. And Charlamagne has said that 25 times from any comments he's been talking about on Andrew Schultz. Like, if Andrew Schultz wants to say that, it's not up to Charlamagne at this point to be like, oh, you can't say that. I understand everything we're saying from that point of view, but he actually knows this guy for 10 plus years.
Hey, but you know what that sounds like to me?
What?
And not to kick it off to the rising, but that sounds like y'all President Joe Biden. Yeah, I don't agree with what Israel's doing right now. I don't think they should do that, but you're still supporting them.
And everybody is going to have their moment where it's like, am I going to create pushback, or am I going to like mess up my friendship? Like, there's certain things and constraints that people are always going to be like, I'll sell out for that.
Of course.
So that's his
co-host.
That's his co-host.
That's his co-host. I guess right for your friend.
Yeah. I just find it interesting because, like I say all the time, we never kind of speak on white culture. We never speak on how. God. We never. I'm gonna cut that out.
We don't talk about how y'all locks don't twist.
It's just gonna be.
We didn't talk about y'all Thanksgiving dinners I seen on TikTok.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
What the hell is pineapples, mayonnaise, and cheese?
That's what I'm saying. We don't talk about white culture. So when I
You're
see
from the Midwest.
crazy stuff,
pineapples, mayonnaise, and cheese. That is diabolical. What the heck is that?
When I see some crazy stuff like that, I don't speak on y'all culture. So why is it so acceptable?
Because,
like I said, I love apple pie. I love it, but that's y'all's. Like, salute.
But
I don't
do
go
white
in and
people
try
warm
to
the apple pie up
it.
and then put ice cream on it?
See,
I think they should. I don't think they do it like that.
You're right.
But at the same time, too, it's like that's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Black culture is popular culture. Popular culture is for everyone. So they feel this is what I grew up on. This is what everybody is talking about. I feel as entitled as anyone to speak on this. And I don't think a lot of white people understand nuance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of stuff gets muddy. And we're not allowed to say these certain jokes and do these certain things about people because half of y'all are dead ass.
Y'all really believe
it's not a joke to y'all.
Right.
Y'all are dead ass, and we know it.
Mm-hmm.
And you try to use the fact that you're a comedian or the fact that this is a joke to be like, no, I'm just saying stuff. It was just a joke. Y'all are taking it too serious.
Right.
Y'all didn't read me like a book. No, never. Me? Want to fuck Kendrick? Never. But then we noticed that a lot of stuff started coming out about him after that.
Right. Do you have that Billboard's top list.
Unfortunately, it's usually Cayman that be pissing me off with these lists, but today I found this one. I pissed myself off.
I'm weak.
But
So
yes.
this is Billboard's list.
No, I believe this is Rolling Stone.
Okay, Rolling Stone.
Yes, Rolling
Gotta look at the
Stone's
background
top
of them.
10 best rap albums of 2024.
Okay,
which is
quick
crazy
question.
because they dropped this. There are still albums dropping. 2024 is not slowing down at all.
Right.
We just got a Snoop Dre album.
Right.
Did it make this list? No. Should it make this list?
It might make my top 10 list. Tune into the Rise and we will be dropping our year end wrap ups.
You don't gotta lie to kick it.
That was a good album.
Stop it.
So Rolling Stone, what do they know about hip hop? They got some hip hop?
I know they got a rock and roll museum.
Okay.
I know.
Shout out to the Rolling Stone, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know black people invented rock and roll,
1000%.
so maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe they know a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So, top 10 best rap albums of 2024 according to Rolling Stones. Number 10, Might Delete Later by J. Cole. And honestly, as much mess as we talk about J. Cole, as much mess as we've talked about that project, I can go and I will say as far as Might Delete Later is still one of the better projects this year. Do I think it needs to make this list? Yes, and I think it should be a little higher than 10. Is it a top 5? No, but I think it should be higher than 10.
Maybe borderline 10 for me. Maybe not even in my top 10. That's how I feel about my Delete Later.
But Might Delete Later post 7 Minute Drill.
7 Minute Drill was still on there for me, bro. I'm going to, like, I'm like this with basketball. Like, you guys are not going to create a narrative. I know Cole has been doing stuff, and I know people forget like that. But I know every single detail about what happened with this beef, just like I know every single detail when I'm talking about what happened with some basketball shit back in the day when I'm trying to make a point and debate somebody. So 7 Minute Drill was originally on there. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life. And when we're talking about this in 20 years, I'm going to make sure that I'm consistent in the points of what happened during this battle. So with that, J. Cole and Might Delete Later probably not making my top 10.
Hey, and I respect that because when we did hear that he was thinking about pulling Might Delete Later, we all downloaded that. All
Right.
about that.
Right.
So, Might Delete Later, J. Cole, number 10. Number 9, we got Marciology by Rock Marciano. So I've heard a lot about Mark Marciano within the last few years. I've really never listened to any of his music. So when I saw him on this list, one above Might Delete Later, of course I took it upon myself to listen to the album.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say, this man is nice. Man is nice. His beats are nice. Very East Coast. I did hear he's supposed to be doing a collab album with The Alchemist. And when I say, I think this nigga would go crazy on an Alchemist beast. Do I think this was better than Might Delete Later? No. No. So I would drop that. Would it, in my personal list, it's not making the list. But just based off what they have, I don't think it's better than Might Delete Later. It was a great project, though. I'll give it that.
I'm looking. These are those two, 10 and 9 to me, honorable mentions of the year.
Yeah, I give it that.
To enter top 10, there was a lot of good music that dropped this year, Xavier. I'm just remembering everything.
Well, it gets a little shakier.
Okay, all right, let's go.
It gets shakier. Number 8, and in my opinion, should be a little higher. Number 8, we have Dark Times, Vince Staples. I do agree. Vince Staples' album this year was by far better than Might Delete Later. It still doesn't make my top 5 personal list, so I would rank this within like the 6 to 8 category as well. But I wouldn't mind putting that at 7.
Okay, yeah. In the top 10, still in those discussions. These albums are
It's a
fighting,
great
but
album.
it's, I would say, better than Might Delete Later.
Really? Nothing even matters?
There was maybe 8 records on this album, this Vince album. There was 9.
Yeah, it wasn't
10.
that long.
It wasn't that long of an album. Maybe 8 to 9 records. I would say maybe okay. It may have the edge over Might Delete Later.
Yeah, I
slightly.
would give it the edge. So we got Vince Staples' Dark Times at number 8. Number 7, Saheem by Sababy. So who?
Sweetie?
So you said Sada Baby?
Sada Baby? That's
again,
what I thought. Sada Baby originally.
This list put me on to Saheem, or excuse me, what is it? Saw Baby. I have never heard of this person before, so I did go back and I listened to this album, and he was giving me like a fusion of like a early Young Thug and a who we say
Rich
Homie Quan.
Yeah, very. I want to see his origins, where he's from.
Right, with some Playboy Cardi beats.
Yeah.
Should it have made this list? Let alone should it have been ranked higher than Might Delete Later and Dark Times? I feel like that is just disrespectful.
Right. Now I got to do some research on him as well. See who he signed to. See who his management team is.
Right.
Certain people get certain looks, and I'm not saying this man is not talented or anything like that, but we're talking about top 10 albums of 2024, and there was a lot of great music, like I just mentioned, in 2024.
I think he dropped this independent.
Okay.
Or with Stream Cut, whatever that is. Because
Okay.
it's just under Saw Baby. So I think he might be an independent artist. So
All right.
shout out to him.
Right,
Shout out
shout
to
out
all
to him.
independent artists.
1000%.
But was Saheem better than Dark Times or Might Delete Later or Marciology at least? No. And it gets shakier.
and it gets shakier.
Number 6. While I did think this was a pretty good album, better than the songs or the albums we mentioned so far? Absolutely not. But shout out my boy Chief Keef, Almighty So Too. It was a really good project. I still go back to a few of the songs, but as an entire project, an entire album, better than Vince and Cole? Not even close. So now I'm like, where are they pulling? This is a random name generator?
Right.
Like Rolling Stone just picked
They
picked
probably did
albums
an
out of hat?
AI. This was an AI list.
That's what the AI mess. I can never get a good end of year wrap up. Y'all using AI. Don't even got stuff
So I'm
accurate.
saying here at Blam, y'all check us out. We finna really do it.
Number 5. This one, it starts looking a little better in my opinion. Still a little shaky. Number 5. Chromacopia by Tyler, the Creator.
Okay.
So I'm not mad at you saying that Chromacopia is better than the albums we mentioned before. I would agree with you. I would even go as far to say that maybe it needs to be ranked a little bit higher. But I am not mad at people kind of coming to terms with the fact that maybe Chromacopia is not as good as we thought. It's cool, but maybe it's not as good as we thought.
It's a top 5 album, so
Top 5 album.
to be a top 5 album in the year, easily, no debate about it. If a person says that means you did your job as an artist.
He did his job. We know the production and everything, the storytelling was immaculate, but at the same time, it's not top 3.
Yeah, because Tyler, to me, just in the rapping category, production can be great, but and amazing. Just in the rapping category, he just lacks in that specific entity, and everybody's not going to have all the Infinity Stones all the time.
No, I get it, because I don't think as much credit as Tyler gets for his artistry, I don't think anybody's really ever said, yeah, Tyler was spitting.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
And
give
he
you-
can
doesn't really give you-
spit.
He can, yeah, but
Right.
consistently,
Right.
that's really not his bag per
Right.
se. So could be higher, but I'm not mad at it being 5. Number 4, we have Shadowbox by Mavi. So Mavi might be a little lesser known artist. He is from the East Coast. I personally have listened to him, and I do think he had one of the best albums of 2019 and 2022 with Let the Sun Talk, and I'm blanking on the other album, but those were great projects. Do I think it's better than Chromacopia? Personally, I do.
Yeah, because those probably you said 19 and 22. This is 24.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this list let me know he even dropped an album. And that's what we talked about. Like, artists really don't be promoing, doing rollouts, because, like I just said, I think he had one of the best albums of 2019 and 2022. I had no idea this man dropped the album in August of this year. It is December. But I went back, did my due diligence, listened to the album. Great album. I see it having more replay value, at least for me, than Chromacopia. On a mainstream commercial level, I wouldn't put it 4 over 5. But personally, I do think it deserves that ranking. It was a great album.
Top 5? That's going to be top 5 on your list?
No.
Okay.
Going based off their list.
Hey,
Going based off their list.
Just making sure. Rolling Stone, come on, man.
There's probably only going
Top
to be
4?
3 of these albums on my personal
Top
list.
4 is ridiculous.
I-
Come on, man.
maybe not top 4, but I do agree that it's better than Chromacopia.
We'll see if it's on your top 10 list.
Oh, but it's not. Chromacopia is not on my top 10. It's on my
you
top 10 like objective list.
Yes, you're making a top 10
Well,
objective
then I
list
guess
to wrap the year up.
I guess.
Cornucopia will definitely be on there.
I hate y'all objective niggas. Like. Number 3, cleaning it up a little bit.
Okay.
Number 3, we have Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q. And
That's
I think that
high.
needs to be a little lower.
Yeah, that's
maybe
high.
closer to Dark Times by Vince Staples.
Right.
I put
It's
those kind of
around
on the,
the- right,
yeah, that same level.
1000%.
And I would probably say I honestly I think I enjoyed Vince's album a little bit more than Schoolboy Q's album. But I would still put them about neck and neck. So
Yeah.
I feel like Blue Lips is a little too high. Number 3, I would put that maybe at like a 6.
And I probably would enjoy the Schoolboy a little bit more than the Vince. So, but it's been back and forth throughout the year because those
Yeah.
both dropped earlier this year. So
Yeah,
it's been
earlier
a back
this
and
year.
forth thing with them.
And the year sped up quick since then,
Right,
but
right,
they
right.
still held up.
Right.
Still go back to them for a couple songs, so
Yeah.
definitely got to put them on that top 10 for sure.
So that's number 3.
Number 3. Number 2. It's getting shakier. Number 2, we have GNX by Kendrick Lamar.
Number 2.
Woo! And I say it's getting shakier because y'all can't see it, but I'm looking at the number 1.
Right, because I'm like, if GNX ain't number 1, then what is number 1?
I agree with you. GNX is better than Chromacopia as far as replay value
Oh yeah, yeah.
and
yeah.
cultural impact.
Yeah. This
Production-wise, Chromacopia is still better.
this may be
Chromacopia's production is ridiculous. We gotta love live
yeah, but
orchestras and
just
stuff
to
like that.
hear this Kendrick is ridiculous.
It is
I've heard
ridiculous,
him in
and I love a
another
flip.
sound. I've heard, it's close to me. I'll have to re-listen to him with.
And we're from the West, so we're more prone to liking West Coast style beats
Right,
and
right, right.
music. So I feel like coming from a Cali boy, we would say like, oh yeah, that production was just so much better. But I think really if just overall,
that
we gotta give
Tyler
props
was
to
amazing.
Yeah, that production was crazy. But replay value, charts, and everything else that matters, cultural impact, which you really love, GNX toppled Chromacopia. And hey, shout out to Kendrick for giving Tyler 2 weeks before he dropped GNX and really flipped the game up.
So what's number 1 on this list?
Number 1, hey, no shade, but y'all love this album. I get it. But really? Like that? Respect. No shade. She's great. Number 1, Alligator Bites, Never Heal by Doechii.
okay.
The future GOAT.
Okay.
Kenny
Future
Reincarnate.
Goat. Future Goat. Shout
But-
out to her.
Do I think Alligator Bites Never Heal is the best rap album of this year? No, I do not. Do I think it deserves to be on the top 10? Absolutely. But I feel like just Doechii's overall artistry, personality, and stage presence is overshadowing a little bit the debut project. Fantastic, great, amazing debut project. Can't wait to see what else she has coming. Great songs on there. But personally, I didn't get that Kool-Aid that y'all got.
That was the best women's album this year.
Agreed. It was the only women's album that made the list.
Their list. I got Glorilla in mine.
I got Glorilla in mine too.
Yeah.
So I dang near got Rhapsody in mine too. So like
Yeah.
I have
Rhapsody's
some.
is
I got.
honorable mention to me.
But like I don't know. Like maybe I'm just a hater. Let me know down in the comments if I'm just a hater. I think Alligator Bites was a great album. I'm looking back at the album on my phone and dang near every song is favorited and on my playlist. But better than GNX, better than Blue Lips, better than Dark Times by Vince Staples? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad that Rolling Stone put the Doechii Alligator Bites Never Heal at number 1 because it was a great segue to our next topic. So let me just get this out the way. Rolling Stone, this list is complete BS. It's trash. Take it away. But Doechii has been saying something, and you're not underwhelmed. And I like your perspective on this, Xavier, because you're not underwhelmed with, her stage presence, her performance. What we're starting to see from Doechii.
Star in the making.
You
for
still
sure.
know that Alligator Bites Never Heal was a great album. You still did say it's the best women's album this year, or project, mixtape, whatever you want to call this. There's been a lot of traction and hate that Doechii has been receiving over the past couple of weeks as she has been quote unquote shoved in the consumers' faces. This is what people saying on Twitter. You know these BS people.
Yeah.
So They said that Doechii makes Harriet Tubman music. What does that mean to you when somebody says that?
That means she's a dark skinned black woman.
Hmm.
And the more your front row starts to look like that Cole show, the more they're gonna start pointing that out. And I've seen people also mention Doechii doesn't really hide the fact that she's a, a, a dark skinned black woman who's proud and vocal about her sexual orientation. She doesn't hide that. She lets you know right there in the music, in her interviews, and she's putting a lot of conversations in the faces of the masses now. And the masses isn't who her fan base started off as. So now she's branching off to being more commercial and mainstream. She's gonna get a lot more hate from these newcomers.
But how is this like Free the Slaves music? How is it Harriet Tubman music? How is any of this any of that?
Same reason woke now means that you don't want nobody to have fun and that you hate men. Same reason that Black Lives Matter got its name tarnished. White people have they have a really good knack for taking a term. Really good knack for swag. Y'all remember swag? And what happened when white people got a hold of swag?
What happened when white people got a hold of swag surfing?
Oh, we seen the videos. What happened when white people got a hold of a fade? Turn that to the Travis Kelce. Like, y'all, it's like y'all can't touch nothing without trying to make it yours, and it's like that kind of just ruins it because it's like.
What happened when white people got a hold of potato salad? Y'all start putting raisins in it. We could go all
they
night.
got me with that one. You got me with the raisins and the potato salad. That kind of hit. I'm not mad. I like raisins in like my chicken salad and my potato. I like it. I like a little sweetness.
I don't even eat potato salad, and that's very anti-black. My mom makes some of the best potato salad you'll probably ever taste in your life. I ain't tasting that shit. But I know raisins ain't supposed to be in it. That's all I know.
I didn't say it's supposed to be in there, but it's not as
So
bad
it's not supposed to be in there.
No. It's not supposed to be in there, but it's good. It's
That's
cool.
what I'm just saying.
It's better than mayonnaise, pineapples, and cheese. I'd never.
What was he talking? What was he talking about again? What were we talking
white
about?
people calling Doechii Harriet Tubman music.
Okay,
and it's really just them following the trail of Drake. He's made a lot of things acceptable. We've heard whips and chains like American slaves. You trying to rap like you trying to get the slaves free. Oh, he had his mom intro him to when he said nigga. Like, he's made a lot of things seem acceptable to his fan base, which we know is predominantly at this point not like us. So I just feel like we're just starting to see, like, we know that people say there is a double glow up for musicians. You need the black community to be put on to the level where you could be mainstream. Then you need the white fan base to make sure that you are getting the money, the concerts, really promoting yourself to that next level of stardom. If you don't have the white fan base, you're not going to be a star, unfortunately, for most people. So I think Doechii is experiencing a rapid ascent to stardom because of how well received this album was. So she's quickly being put into the face of white people, and we're seeing how that's going right now. Harriet Tubman music. Just call her black and get over it. Jesus Christ. But if you want to be racist, just be racist. We can tell you're racist. Trying to act like you ain't a racist. That's crazy. Even racists don't want to be a racist.
But it's even like people. Okay. The average music consumer, and by no stretch of the imagination, Xavier, am I saying I'm this intelligent being? Like, I'm smart, I have the utmost self-worth and respect for myself and my intelligence and for who my parents raised me to be.
Amen.
But in my estimation, Xavier, the average music consumer, not people who love it like me, but the average music consumer are dumb. They're stupid.
I thought you were going to say the average consumer, especially in hip-hop, is white.
Oh, that's another great point.
Yeah, that's
another great point.
And that's prevalent by if you ever go to any concert for any artist, even Chief Keef, even Sada Baby. Most of these shows you go to, you get there and you're like, wait.
There's a white audience.
This is his audience?
Right.
I couldn't tell you how many artists I've gone to and I was just shocked.
Right.
And I'm not.
You start going to concerts, you'll see.
Yeah, you start going to these concerts, and the more your favorite artist starts to blow up, it gets a little bit more drastic. And like we mentioned, that's that double blow up. You need that to get to that next check.
Right. But I brought up they're dumb. They don't literally listen to the music. Like, nobody consumes music and actually wants to listen and like analyze and really understand what the artist is trying to say and convey in their music. Like, none of that stuff is happening anymore.
And
It's just the fast pace, and maybe you're saying that with Drake and somebody who is now filing a petition against the label that made him this relevant guy and this to have this much commercial success and stuff.
Soft.
It's like that's the benefit of where we see the music business at right now.
right, and I don't want to take any shine away from what a B Drake is acting like right now. Softest man in history. But at the same time, I don't want to put all of the blame on
him.
Drake
Yeah,
for
it's
the
not
way
all
people
on
consume
him.
music.
1000%.
I feel like a large portion of why a majority of people prefer music that they don't have to listen to and that they can just use as a momentary escape or background music. I feel like there's just too much going on in everyday life.
Right,
Too
right.
much stress, too much on people's mind to where now when I'm listening to music, I don't want to have to think. I just want to enjoy. I just want you to curate a vibe for me.
Right.
And I feel like Drake and other artists like Future are just profiting off of that. Profiting off the fact that people don't want well thought out, content driven, wordy, dictionary based music. They just want, yeah.
Right, but it's like when you're really going through something, Xavier, don't you need, like, I understand the escape, but I really need an artist to tell me they're really going through it and how they overcame that and how they still have energy to do things throughout the day. Like Doechii was talking about all that in Alligator Bites Never Heal. She had maturation processes through that. She was talking about her struggles. She was talking about addiction. She was talking about her ex. She was talking about so many things that could have touched so many people if you would have just listened to the freaking music.
If you just listen to the music, but you forgot, Cayman, I saw the album cover. I know it's a black woman.
Right.
Even though, like you mentioned, the content of what Doechii's giving you, you can really connect with that no matter if you're black or not.
Right.
She's talking about exes. Her nigga was in the closet. A lot of people can connect to that, unfortunately. a lot of y'all is down under. So the story that she's giving you is for everybody. Like
for
Kendrick
everybody.
even mentioned in the beginning of his career, I don't make black music, I don't make white music, I make everyday life music. And what I'm experiencing, yeah, it just predominantly affects a lot of black people, but it's still just my everyday life.
Right.
Not only black people can connect to what I'm saying. And I feel like if Doechii's face was not on the cover of the album, I don't think it would
Different
get as much
story.
hate. Because I don't think the hate is being driven by her outstanding Tiny Desk concert. I don't think the hate's really being driven from her stage performances from the people that already paid to go see her. I think it's from the people saying that this was the best album from a woman this year, and I can look on the album cover and I can see a dark-skinned black woman.
And
I think that's all it is.
And that's why you get hate.
And
this
that's-
is America.
Yeah, and that's why people are kicking down Andrew Schultz's door, because y'all been talking about black women on a crazy level, crazy disrespectful level
For too long now.
For 1,000 years.
Right, for too long now.
And the one time somebody says, "Hey, maybe black people shouldn't let the white people that they're around just say anything that they want about black people,"
women.
and then now they get sexually assault threats. I don't get it. But
'Cause
like
he's
you said,
comedian and he's white.
yeah.
White comedian. Those are the two most protected words you can be in America.
Right,
white
like
and a comedian.
I saw Problem speaking a little bit on it, and he was like, he said black people are too forgiving and too gracious, and he said I've
1000%.
never been that type of black. I remember everything. He said somebody should have slapped him right there, smack.
Right.
And I was like, he's right, because like he said, if I would have said something even remotely close to that, every sponsorship, every deal, everything would have been stripped from me. But him, all it did was increase his numbers. That was a promotional video for him.
Right.
He profited off of one of the biggest things that happened in hip hop for the last 10 years.
Literally.
And all he did was gain
Ate it up.
more white fans.
This is the world we live in, America. Do you have anything to say about the little leprechaun you was talking about earlier? And
Hey.
his recent song where he tried to insert himself into some stuff. He said he wished people would come for him like they came for Aubrey.
Hey, before we even get to the leprechaun, woohoo, we got to talk about DDG.
Oh, okay.
I have been telling y'all since he was on really heavy on the YouTube and he still considered himself a YouTube rapper, DDG's not bad. He's not a terrible rapper. His project that he dropped a few years ago was actually pretty solid.
Okay.
Now, Fast forward to this track. He has not developed at all. He still raps like he's in the beginning of his career. Very simplistic bars that you could honestly just pick from anybody else's song and kind of just put his beat over it, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But when you're just listening to it sonically, it sounds fine. It sounds good. Then we get into the leprechaun. The little evil little leprechaun trying to pinch your cheeks and shit. Why is he talking? Why do I hear clamoring going on in the background in his verse? Like, nigga, go somewhere. And
he can't go nowhere.
Right. And he's on the song. He's on the song talking like.
That's the problem.
Like, oh, I got secrets I'm holding. I'm really doing it for y'all. I don't want to snitch. I'm holding it down for real. Like, why are you talking about this? Do your time and shut the fuck up. This one got nothing to do with you. I don't recall Drake saying Tory.
They're both Canadian. You know, Canadians got to stick together.
I guess. Tell me Canadians are sticking together when Kendrick had to open up a second show in Toronto. Don't look like they're sticking together like that. Don't look like they're sticking together like that. Looks like they picking and choosing. And right now we see Tory Lanez picking that he wants to be on Drake's side. And I haven't heard Drake acknowledge it, mention it,
He's not
promote
going
it.
to.
Of course not, because even though Drake has also said some scandalous bars about Megan post that incident,
right.
I don't think he's really just hoping and wishing, especially at this point in his life, to be friends with Tory Lanez.
Mm-hmm.
Who, again, I'll say it every time we bring him up. I did not know y'all like that nigga. Y'all listen to Tory Lanez for real?
Bruh, Tory Lanez
And
has...
don't say Chick Stapes.
No, I'm just saying, Tory Lanez has fans. Tory Lanez is a very talented musical artist as far as just his rapping ability, his singing ability. So he's just a multifaceted artist. So yes, he has traction. Thinking back before the incident with Meg and where he was at, it wasn't necessarily musically where he did reach heights, and he does have a lot of different sounds and stuff. But quarantine radio and how popular that was, and his personality and stuff like that, Tory Lanez had a very big, huge following before all this happened.
I don't know where I was
He's
at.
just trying to stay relevant at this point. I understand it.
It's hard to stay relevant in prison or jail.
mean,
Where's this nigga at?
He's in L.A. I think this is prison in L.A. But I mean, I really didn't have.
He is not Bobby Shmurda.
I wanted to get your take on that. I mean,
It's really nothing to say.
chasing.
Yeah, it was just clout chasing.
Yeah, I mean, it's internet stuff. This
Yeah, that
is
was worse.
2025,
That
bro.
was worse than Rick Ross. Rick Ross's diss track that he made during the beef. That was like, yeah, it was just like, why? It was
I had
just
to run
random.
that Rick Ross. I gotta run that Rick Ross track back. I ain't gonna lie. After these lawsuits,
What did Rick Ross say? Fish tanks and marble floors, living.
Hey.
I liked it.
white boy,
White boy. White boy.
white boy.
He got your gators on, white boy. So, yeah, it was just a clout chase, money grab, looking for attention, anything to say relevant, and I don't think anybody's really biting. Especially because, nigga, you did a collab with DDG. If anything, I'm looking at DDG like, why are you doing a collab with Tory Lanez taking shots at Kendrick, Team Drake? If anything, that's what I'm looking at. Mostly, I'm looking at DDG. If anything, DDG's been spiraling since his girl left him.
Dang,
And I get it. He fumbled the Little Mermaid. That's tough.
that's tough.
That's tough. So I feel you, brother, but
Right.
this ain't the way.
There's better ways, brother.
Who? I got to turn the game again. Who let the infants out of daycare?
Brother DDG, there's better ways, my brother.
Better ways.
Better ways. Come pray with me.
You
man.
should have did the A&P cipher. I saw you kicking it with Kai.
Right. That
That would've been cool.
Right. Xavier, Snoop and Dre dropped an album recently, Missionary. I still need to listen to it a couple more times before I'm able to give a full review. Let me
sure?
just tell you right now, it sounds amazing. In my car, production was there. What I will say about the rapping, Snoop Dogg, who is a legend, who we
Preface.
adore in our culture. Very nice preface,
Yeah,
huh?
preface that.
Who I would want to meet one day. You know, Snoop
for
Dogg,
sure.
legend.
Definitely want to.
Right.
Goals in life, you feel?
Ah,
The goals we have.
the goals we have is just what I said. That legend, LA legend, one of the staples of the West Coast and the West Coast sound and what he has provided to the game. So for them to be in this latter part of their careers and still be able to give me great records is impeccable. We were talking about this earlier pre-pod. When it comes to the OGs in hip hop this year, I think LL Cool J came the hardest out of everyone. Pause.
He
And
smoked it for real this year.
that album that LL Cool J dropped was amazing. I think that's the best out of all the OGs.
Sonically, what did the LL Cool J album sound like to you? Like, did it sound like it was for a certain demographic?
That's actually a good question, because some of these records on this Dre and Snoop album, I wouldn't say is for a certain generation, but I was called an old head when we were talking to our friend about it. Like, you're an old head for even like bopping your head. Like, so maybe the LL Cool J stuff is old head stuff. I just like old head stuff, so I couldn't even tell you.
And
sonically,
I
it sounded
agree.
up to date. It didn't
Right.
sound out of date,
Right.
but it just sounded like it was for a specific type of consumer.
Hip hop heads.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I agree. Like,
Hip-hop
when I'm
heads.
listening to the LL album, it didn't sound like he was making an album for the old heads. It sounded like he was making an album for, like, real hip-hop consumers.
Right.
When I'm listening to the Snoop and Dre album, it kind of sounded like an old head album.
Okay,
It kind of
okay.
sounded like they just made this album for their demographic.
Okay.
For the people who been listening to them since the inception of their career. Let me give y'all something for you, so you don't got to keep listening to all these young bucks. And to me, yeah, it just sounded like a little dated. And I will say, at first I was like, man, I was expecting more from Dre, from production. My fault. I was listening on my phone.
Right. Can't do that with no
Yeah,
Dre
yeah.
with no Dre album.
I put it in the speaker and it was easily corrected. Production on this album is great. Like, I don't have a problem with old head music.
Right.
I love old head music.
Right.
I love those type of beats in that style. So I love the production on the album, but now when we're talking about the flows and the verses, that's when it started missing me.
And that's what, and that
Yeah.
was the thing. It was just lacked in that part.
Yeah, it
And
just lacked in that
LL
part.
and his album didn't lack in that.
Right.
Like
At all.
how LL sounded. I remember me, you, and your dad were listening to that LL and Eminem track, and we were like, "Who had the better verse out of them?" And they were both spitting. They both
Killing it.
like sounded like they were in their prime still.
I know.
in
Now I'm
2024.
trying to listen to Murdergram. That was one of my favorite rap songs of this year. Like, what I got from M on Murdergram is all I wanted from the Death of Slim Shady. All I wanted. I know people are talking about, oh, that's just a precursor to the next album. Nigga, I don't care. It wasn't good. I don't care. You give me a bad album to a precursor to a good album, it's still a bad album. But, yeah, M on Murdergram did crazy. And I would just say LL won the old head battle this year.
1000%. Missionaries, if y'all haven't listened to it, go ahead and listen to Dr. Dre and Snoop's album. I always try to listen to the old heads, and while I say that, I still do have to listen to that Ice Cube album. I haven't listened to it and are
it was
giving it
cool.
a spin, so I need to go back and listen to that, because I just gotta respect our legends. Like,
Right, yeah.
we gotta make sure we
We
respect
gotta have
our
a real
legends.
conversation about the battle of the old heads, like
Right,
LL
right.
versus Q versus
Right.
Snoop and Dre. I think somebody else dropped this year too. But yeah, the Ice Cube album, it was cool. It was solid. Very much sounded like early, hard hitting Ice Cube. But at the same time, these beats in this production didn't sound as dated. It sounded a little bit newer. Overall, Ice Cube's pen didn't seem to waver too much. He was still writing at a pretty high level. So it was a solid project.
1000%. So, year-end wrap up for Everyday Hip Hop coming soon. We will have our lists out.
Stop dropping
Best
music.
rap album. We got a SZA Deluxe coming on the 20th, the day that we do the wrap up. So
Jesus.
get ready.
Ain't she giving like 10 songs too?
Yeah, it's gonna be a.
That's a project.
It's basically.
We're getting a little mixtape.
Right. So I'm looking forward to that. Year-end wrap up coming soon. Best albums, best songs. We're gonna look at the year in its entirety, but this is Everyday Hip Hop for the time being. My name is Cayman,
I'm Xavier.
and we out.
Peace.